vaccination because of certain things. Like I'm telling you, these are all like conspiracy theories, y'all. They petty. It started skipping. See what I'm saying? They don't want y'all to know this shit. They don't want us to ask no questions. They
Yeah,
don't want to know.
yeah. Hold on, what about to say?
So, do you think that that's possible? That labs are so you think that's real shit?
I mean, anything they put in the movies, I believe they trying to do it for real.
I believe that.
Anything you see in these movies, they trying to really do the shit. They trying.
They won't
Ah
let them
man, they won't
record.
even let it record. This this down the rabbit hole right here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
You could start. You could start you a lab.
yeah. I got me. So I'm trying to screen record it though. I at about the 36-minute mark, but hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to say is that you know what I mean, like real spit, man. They don't even have, they still haven't even cleared up the Flint, Michigan thing. It's been like 7, 8 years now, and it's been people that I think have tried to sue. But see, this is the thing. So recently, an article came out saying that it's not good to drink rainwater. So like it's getting so wild with what they trying to do that it's like they keep trying to just either poison us or do something with our bodies or our immune systems. Like you
Our
know what I'm saying?
brain.
So and when you think about it, you try to like I want to get so uh, any, you still got people that drink tap water, which I have no idea how anyone in 2022 can drink some damn tap water.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you something, bro. Like real talk. If you it ain't nobody on here that's from Gary. But if you from Gary, you know what I'm talking about. Man, back in the day, Gary had some fire ass tap water. I don't know if it's still like that. Probably not. But we used to literally have people who were in Gary visiting that bring us jugs of water. Their water used to be so good. I promise you. I never liked Nap water. Like I don't know what Nap's water has to offer. I don't know what it always had a weird taste to
It's
me.
like
But
drugs. It's like
it's
heroin.
it's it just was a weird like well water taste. Like it was just always weird. But like
It's that.
people from Gary, like my mama used to keep their tap water in like ocean spray jugs. Like the water was so good, but what you're saying is factuals. Flint is still messed up. Um,
Right. So
I don't know.
right. So what I was saying was that it's to the point now where you know they contaminate this water so much that like so what I didn't know was that um
Facts.
all these waters run into each other. So the rivers and the lakes. So anything that was contaminated in that Flint water, any contamination they've had in the water, that's getting to every single bit of water around this country. You know, like it's bad where like and that's the crazy part. I'll say don't drink tap water, but I'm taking a shower in the same type of fucking water. So I'm saying,
Right. So it's really like you really can't. You
it's like you
really
gotta get
can't
a
get away
filter system.
from
You gotta get a whole filter system. Like you gotta like that's how crazy it is now. You gotta get
it.
a whole filter system. Like you know what I mean? Like some of this
We
bad
ain't
water.
about to do all that. Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to do all that.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy out
It's
here.
it's
It's
too
crazy
much.
with this, and they keep trying to put us in some type of adversity. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody just said about monkeypox. So let's I'm gonna throw this. I'm gonna throw my little conspiracy truth. But what's been said is that the monkeypox outbreak going on around here is from uh the booty bandit and the booty and the yeah, it's supposed to be in the LGBTQ community that these numbers is real high in. And in a lot of the cities that these numbers are high in are real high populated gay places. And they're saying the monkeypox is coming from the bacteria of the booty, of the butt.
But it's but
Literally
what they're
butt.
not saying, what they're not saying about monkeypox, and I was talking to my boyfriend about this. Notice that y'all, whenever they show monkeypox, they always show us. They always show us with these monkeypox. But monkeypox is actually really bad in primarily European countries.
It was said
It's
what she
really
saying.
bad.
They did say it was sexual. They did say it was a sex. They did come out. I believe they came out
I
recently
wouldn't doubt it though,
and say
but I
that.
wouldn't doubt it. But what I'm saying is that like they're mainly making it seem as if like anytime you see a monkeypox hand, that hand is brown. It's brown all the time. They always want to try to point that shit back to Africa, like that's where it damn near like kind of came from. No, because if you look at the chart of where it's really bad at around the world, it's majority of European countries, and I don't doubt it because hell, we wouldn't have we had a syphilis problem out here what damn near 60, 70, 80 years ago, and that came from Europe.
Yeah,
It's
somebody said that's crazy though, sex. Yeah, so what we gotta understand is that a lot of these things that are being recycled back around are things that they're so any kind of disease that's out there, man, is really man made. What happens is that if you don't have your immune system on point, if you don't have your immune system any good, and a majority of your immune system is in your stomach, so whatever you got going on with your gut, they can they can they can they can try to manipulate, they can try to incubate, they can try to release things in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like next time you see a plane flying in the air and it leaves a whole trail, just understand that is not natural for a plane to do that.
look at
Planes
this
don't
chart.
leave trails. Oh, that's
Where do you
the.
see?
Oh, wow.
You see where it's at?
Yup.
This Africa right here.
Yup.
Look where it's majority at though.
Yup.
What's that like? Spain and
Yup.
Yugoslavia and yeah,
Somebody says
yeah.
sitting in the lab just waiting. Yeah, that's it. Yolanda Small said.
I'm at this point where I just feel like they don't want us to do shit, y'all. They don't want us to touch each other. They don't want us to hug. They don't want us to talk. They don't want us to procreate. They don't want us to do anything without us being in fear of something
Well,
getting us.
one thing I gotta say, these are all facts. One of the main reasons why they were trying to get that census numbers in the 2010 is because they, they white people as we know it have a negative birth rate, and they're dying off more than they're making babies. So when you have those that have been in power for a very long time and they know that their run is over, and they know they have a recessive gene, and that's no shade to white people. I'm just saying white people have a recessive gene. A white person cannot really make another. So if a white person has a baby by any ethnicity, they're no longer white. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they They are doing all this for mass pandemonium chaos because they know if we stop playing and we really be about some real business out here, black folks is gonna not only do what we need to do, but in our lifetime, they gonna cut that check for reparations. And they know we coming down. They know we coming down because it ain't gonna take millions of us to get. So right now, they just got done having um in LA, they just got done having a vote to try to put a discussion in place about reparations, and it's all having to do with your lineage. If you really see it out here in the news, also there's other cities that have had some kind of reparation talk, but it's been flooded with the nonsense. So what I'm saying is like places like in Indianapolis, there's going to be a city, there's going to be a state. Watch why I say there's going to be a state in this country in the next 20 to 30 years that is going to give reparations for the lineage of foundational black aboriginal Americans here in this country, and we're gonna get that check. You might have heard a lot of old niggas
You
talking
know
about
what
we ain't
state it's
gonna
gonna
get it.
be?
We gonna get it,
You know, you know
and
what
that's
state
why
it's
they.
gonna be? It's gonna be California. It's gonna
So
be
places like
California.
California is gonna be
I
bigger.
would say either California. I don't know about the reparation. I would say either California or New
Watch.
York. Them two, them two states right there. I could see that possibly happening. California, for one, they a whole different damn country, like really on their own. Like California got their own things going on, but they're liberated. You know
They
what I'm
do.
saying? One thing about California, and they're liberated as hell. It's expensive to live there. Yeah, there's things going on in California, but black folks out there are liberated. You got people out there that's still in the Panthers, and that are still about, you know what I'm saying, the black economy very strong out there. I think that New York will be great because New York has such a deep rooted history in the slave trade with Wall Street, you know, the park out there, you know what I mean? Like I think that those would be the main two. Sadly, I don't see a southern state. I don't see a southern state happening. I don't see that happening in Indianapolis. It would take for them to follow suit. One thing about NAP, no disrespect, NAP follows what is going on. They may eventually follow suit, but I think that reparations is going to take for us to really do the groundwork of tracking our lineage, really getting genealogy reports and seeing if a lot of our family members were actually enslaved, seeing if some of our family members were from here versus being, whether they were indentured servants who could have possibly had their own land. I think that, and if you all are not, people who follow Dan Calloway on on YouTube, look him up. He's the only, I would say he's the only true speaker right now that is on YouTube that is really, really like not being flagged as much. Because a lot of the shit that he be talking about, you could really like low key go look it up yourself. Like he don't just be talking out the side of his ass. Like he's a really real, he researches everything that he talks about. And
Yeah,
he's very much so about the black people of America learning who they are so that way they can be properly paid for the pain and suffering that their ancestors went through and that we're still going through today.
right. So
But I don't want to get too far off this list that I got for you because I gotta
okay, go
ask you
ahead, go
about
ahead. Okay.
aliens. I gotta ask you about aliens, bro. Aliens.
So aliens.
Area 54. What you know
So
about it?
hey, I'm glad you asking these questions though. I'm glad you asking these questions. I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad you asked that. So so also what's happening, man, and I meant to write her name down. So what's happening is that do I believe? Yeah, I believe there's something out there. Yeah, I do. They've already came out and admitted that there's something else out there. See, the thing is that I don't think they want us to know how much is out there and how it's happening. And so there was a point in time where this happened. It was either before the pandemic or maybe during the pandemic, but and you can look this up. NASA has shut down all their cameras, like in the whole uh the one they got in Houston. They shut down all the cameras. Right, there was on this particular day there was, and they didn't know why they shut down the cameras. There was no one that got any kind of pictures except for one person, and it's a white chick, and she's in Indiana. I'm gonna send you her YouTube channel, man. I meant to write that down and I didn't write it down because I wanted to shout her out, man, because you know what I mean. I saw her and I saw her through someone else's channel that put her clip on there. Man, she caught on her telescope camera. I don't know what she used, man, but she caught all these motherships in the sky. Like this, like I'm believe that a lot of this stuff is like almost like the Predator, where you can see a cloud in the sky and it's really like a mothership. It's
Mm-hmm.
just so camouflaged that you don't really know. You know what I'm saying? Like you really just don't know that it would. You know what I mean? So and she's caught other things that are like near the sun and man, she's very it's very interesting, man. It's very interesting. And they mess with her channel too, you know what I'm saying? But she's in Indiana and I want to try to interview her. You know what I'm saying? It's a white
Mm.
chick, man. I'll send her I'll send the name to you.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. DM me that information. But absolutely, like I personally feel as if aliens are among us and they look like human beings. I don't feel as if they look like. I feel like yeah, there's aliens out there that may possibly look like you know the aliens that they show pictures of or the ones that we would think an alien looks like, but I think a lot of them are walking amongst us. I ain't gonna lie, I think some of them are in the White House. I think that a lot of them are literally like here and we see them on TV. I just That's just my theory on it. I just feel like that like everything is hidden in plain sight.
one thing
So
one thing I'll throw out there. So in the movies, what movies did they characterize as far as aliens and UFOs? The movie Alien, the movie
mhm.
Alien, and the movie
Predator.
and the movie Predator. Now, tell me they're not black. Tell me that they did not make the images of the aliens in the. I look. I saw a black woman in Indianapolis that had the same phenotype as the damn Predator. I'm talking about the high cheekbones,
But but
the
what if
whole,
that's by the but you know what, bro? What if that's by design? What if we not the aliens? What if we the humans?
and that's what I think is really in the sky. I think it's a lot of versions. See, in the orbits and everything, everything's black. Everything's black. Everything's black.
Right,
For anything to exist, it has to start from black. So the only thing that can really live out in that type of galaxy atmosphere, whatever you want to call it, is us. It may be a different version of us. It may be a nigga looking like Wilt Chamberlain, 7, 8 foot tall, and damn near look like Shaq. Like it could be a lot of them. It could be. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They kind of
Yeah.
talk about that biblically a little bit. They include the and David and Goliath and all that. But I believe it's all black, man. It's all black, man. That's it's all black.
Mm, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. So, do you believe that reptilians? Do you believe in the reptilian theory that there are actually reptilians that are here?
So do you remember you? So you were 80s. You grew up in the 80s.
Yeah.
The TV show called V.
B.
Look that up. The TV show V. It came on network television when they were all. It's almost like a GI Joe like action packed, but they were they were like snakes, reptilians.
But you also remember this in the 80s, they had a lot of TV shows with robots and aliens. Remember Mork and Mindy, Alf,
They had
Small Wonder.
they had movies with the reptilian kind of vibe.
A lot of that was going on then. So, like you had said, a lot of the things that we be looking at on TV kind of really depicts what's going on in actual reality.
Look up
So
that.
that's why I think that Vicky really ain't shit but Sophia, ain't that her name? That robot that's overseas, that clone thing. What's her name? Sophie.
Yeah,
Remember, we ain't talked about her in a while. Ain't nobody talked about her in a long time. So I think that like when it comes to reptilians, I definitely believe that they are human beings, just like they look like human beings, just like aliens do, and we see them on a regular basis.
yeah, because and it could also be like like the movie Blade. You know what I'm saying? Where you got
Yeah.
day walkers, you got 'cause they that whole um you know vampire reptilian. Like I think that's all kind of like in the same. You got you and I mean, I think I think it's levels to this, man, and it could definitely be some shape shifters and everything like that.
Shapeshifters.
You know what
That's
I
what
mean?
my sister said. Shapeshifters.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, one last thing. What do you know about Bohemian Grove? Listen, I'm digging in deep.
I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad you asked that. Hey, so I have to say this that rituals are real big. You know what I'm saying in this society. So there's a person that I follow on YouTube. He is it's called Gematria News or Gematria Sports. It's a white dude. He's written a book about it, and so Gematria is basically your numbers and letters written either forwards or backwards, and because everything has to do with numbers. Everything has to do with
Mm-hmm.
numbers. So the reason why all this is connected is because they have a lot of ritualistic things that go on, and it's all affiliated either through entertainment, sports, the Vatican, and the Jesuits.
Mm.
Like like
It's crazy.
you can't have DMX die 24 years after making a song called 24 Hours to Live, and he died April 2nd, which is 4/2. Like
Mm.
there's and see I'm like an embryo with that because it's a real knowledge, man. Like if a lot of these things that happen, whether it be like I said, like this Teddy Ray thing, man, it's kind of like bugging me. Like he
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because a lot of folks didn't really know who Teddy Ray was. I've been watching Teddy Ray since he was on All Def Digital. He used to be
Right.
on that. They used to be. I used to watch him. This was before Tony Parker got to where he is right now. Tony Parker was on there. I used to watch him and Tony. I can't remember what his name was, the light skinned dude, but he was funny as hell.
Yeah, doing that
And
Craig Smith on
I, yeah, Craig Smith, that was my boo right there. And I just remember watching it and he was gone. Like he wasn't there anymore. I don't know if they took him off, if he was sick or whatever the hell was going on. But it kind of took me by shock that he had passed away and they found him in the pool. So did he drown?
So they saying they found him unresponsive in the pool, and he died like so in this gematria thing, like there's big numbers, like 53 is a big number, 44 is a big number, 45 is a big number. Like the names and the letters and the way they correspond with numbers, it's just man, like it's something I can't really even explain. But if you check out his channel, you just kind of because I'm trying to get heavy into it because see all these things that happen out here, all these things are happening for a reason. So just to go back to the so like all these rituals that they have, man, they all are kind of all into it. So when people start talking about some Donald Trump, man, they're never going to do anything to Donald Trump. You know why? Because Donald Trump, you do something to Donald Trump, you're going to do something to this whole country, if not part of the world. Donald Trump is affiliated with everything. Ain't no telling what he has been around, what he's seen, who he knows, what he has, who what on. That's why they keep messing with him because it's all some kind of it's something ritualistic about everything they do out here. So when you watch the news and you see either these natural disasters or these um all these killings and shootings out here. Like all this shit's been happening for a while, man. All these mass shootings and all that. It's all lined up in some form of fashion, man. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that maybe a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're covering up the fact that China and Russia have developed a new currency?
See, like, so the thing is, like, I don't know how this is gonna play out with these other places because they all either owe money to each other or they all doing business with each other.
Well,
They all
China owns America.
right. So
They
I
never
don't
owned it.
Yeah, I don't really think it could see like just like we were saying, like in California, so in LA is there's more Asians in LA than like almost anybody. The next time you go to LA, you'll see it is Asia Angeles, Los Asia Angeles. Man, it's a lot. It's a
That's how it
lot.
is in Africa too. But you know what? That's how it is in Africa too. And a lot of people don't want to admit it. Atlanta had a lot of Asians, especially like Dorville. Dorville was crawling with like you couldn't go nowhere in Dorville, and I think that's like maybe like 20 minutes outside of Atlanta. You couldn't go nowhere in Dorville and not see billboards with Asian writing on there. They had their own everything. I'm talking about like it was pretty much like I was in a whole nother country when I went to Dorville. I lived in Dorville for a small amount of time before I moved back here. So they pretty much kind of got their hands in everything. And it's crazy because in America, there was a time like in the 30s and the 40s where like people from Asia was looked at really kind of like niggas. Like they was like really kind of like looked at like discriminated against. Real talk.
Yeah, and they cut
So
them a check.
now seeing,
They cut them a
yeah,
check.
absolutely, absolutely did. Absolutely did. But I thought that that was just real interesting that ain't nobody talking about that. That China and Russia came together and built a whole new currency that could literally challenge the United States dollar. See, we too busy on TikTok right now and talking about everything else that we don't even understand that our currency is literally it's about to take a whole new fall because they may literally come together and get rid of the whole little paper and like probably start using elements. They might start using gold.
Right, and
And
that's
then if
what
they go to the gold standard, being that they have so much money invested in this country, what is that going to mean for us?
well, that's what I heard. That's what I heard somebody say something about Donald Trump proposing something about having the currency backed up by some kind of like gold, so like a dollar would be worth ever so much, and you know what I'm saying, like because they going I mean eventually. So and that's the thing, like I eventually I think it's gonna get to the point where it's gonna be worth all the way nothing, but like, see, that's the thing though. Black people, we could still, even if the dollar bill didn't mean shit anywhere else, we could still collectively in certain pockets make that dollar bill turn into a new dollar bill. Hallelujah.
Ooh.
It can circulate that through. So it may not be nothing really over somewhere else, but in our neighborhoods, if we stop playing and really buy back the block with some of this shit, that dollar bill is good. We'll never be a point where the dollar bill don't mean nothing to us. We'll always have something back in the dollar bill if we really want to stop playing,
We
because
got a lot of work to do.
you know what I'm saying, a lot of work to do. But
A
one thing I'll
lot
say,
of work.
is that, like the movie 300, you had 300 Spartans that took down like damn near everybody. It ain't gonna be millions of us. It may not even be thousands of us. All it takes is the right amount of us.
Yep.
I'd rather have 300 people on the same minds that we on, compared to 1,000 people that are like 50-50. You know what I'm saying? Because that 300 of everybody on the same page, things is gonna get done. Things are gonna get done, and it's gonna get done the way it's supposed to happen.
It's gonna be tough. Hell, we could barely get the people that we rock with to support us. You
That's
know what I
that's
mean? It's rough. And I'm not saying I don't believe in my people, but we got a lot of work to do. It's gonna really take for us to like low key really unplug from all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And really come to an agreement and set some standards, set some codes of ethics. We don't have no codes no more. We've completely removed any type of code bylaw that has been set for us in order for us to conform, in order for us to blend in order for us to be accepted by society, so to speak. When we could really like low key pull all of our money and all of our dollars and all of our attention away from these things that we see are wrecking our community and wrecking our brains, wrecking our children, and really like start our own shit. Like somebody had turned me on to a guy who has his like own social network. It's a black guy. He has his own social network. It's a great idea, but you're charging people to go on it. Now, granted, I get it. You want to like put some money into that, but like, let's be honest. It's gonna be real hard for black folks to pull themselves away from a free application and come to a whole new platform and pay for it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like if MySpace came back and Facebook starts charging, folks might go back to MySpace. You know what I'm saying? So it's really kind of like people want shit that they ain't got to pay for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think like
Attention is the new currency more than anything.
one of the things that's really just gonna get us back to where we need to be is Men being fucking men.
That part.
Stop playing. You know what I'm saying? Push this ego shit to the side and really work with black women. Work with trying to get, because it's just kind of wild all over the place for us, man. But I think at the end of the day, you just don't have a lot of you got too many males and not enough men. You know what I'm saying? We should be out here really, in the streets, man. We should really be together. We should really be, and so it's like, well, and see, all it's gonna take is a few for real men that do things in areas like, I give you like I gotta salute D Ross out there, man, in Indianapolis. D Ross is single handedly went to Post Road and has got a whole facility over there. You know what I mean? He may not get his flowers enough, but he's someone who is a model example on what can happen in Indianapolis. And if you get two or three more D Rosses, because it's gonna be the youngsters, man, that really flip this. That's
Mm.
why they get rid of the Farrakhan's, because Farrakhan was letting people know the young black generation is going to be the ones that they are afraid of, and that's why they go after them, because they know that they can free us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like Yolanda said, that was what we spoke about last week when we were talking about the masculine feminine energy. We have to come together in order for things to become in alignment with our purpose, not just an individual purpose. It has to be our purpose at this point. Because I think that right now what we're missing is lack of community and lack of family. Family is so divided. You have no idea how many people I talk to who barely connect with their family anymore. I'm one of those people. I don't really talk to my family like that. You know what I mean? Like, family is something that creates community. Um, I miss the days when I could walk outside and I knew who my neighbors were. I knew who the people across the street were. We knew who was at the corner store. We knew who owned the corner store. We knew who, you know what I'm saying? We knew everybody in the neighborhood, but like now we don't have that. You know what I mean? It's just really so divided. But I know it's a lot of people on here who are probably wondering like what can they do to further educate themselves on how to maneuver through all of this, I would say, silencing that we have going on. Because what I'm noticing, what we're going through right now is a big silencing. A lot of things I wanted to have this conversation because it seems as if we don't have these discussions enough, not like we used to. You know what I mean? Granted, when I was, big in conspiracy theories, a lot of these conversations I would have would be with coworkers. A lot of us are working from home now, so we don't really have that connection to really have these conversations as much. And then, we can't really talk about it on Facebook or Instagram, or unless it's a meme, you know what I mean, or something in that nature. So these are like a few of like my favorite books. If you all don't have these in your arsenal, I highly recommend that you possibly get them there. They really will open up your mind to a lot of truth. This is a favorite of mine. If you do not have this book, I highly recommend that you get it. This is Spirituality Before Religions. It is by a black author. It's Professor Kamane. If you don't have this book, as a melanated individual, I feel like everybody should have this book in their possession. Be prepared to completely be blown away, because this man literally breaks down how we were created, how our races came about. He uses science as well as astrology. So it's not like this is just something that, like I said, that he just pulled out his ass. No, this man did a lot of research in order to get this information out of here. And if you're really big into like ancient Egyptian Kemetic, this is right here. If you're into stuff like that, then you'll like it. Another good book that I think you all should really have is this one. They Came Before Columbus. I spoke about this brother Dane Calloway, and he touches on a lot of things. This pretty much talks about what what was going on before Columbus even brought his ass over here. We're starting to get to that point in our lives where there are certain truths that's starting to come out. The fact that Columbus did not discover America. He was a rapist and a thief. So this is going to really talk about what a lot of our ancestors were actually doing on Turtle Island. Before it was called America, it was actually called Turtle Island. And it was ran by a lot of people from who came from Africa, and they came over here and they settled here. And they had their own land. They had shit together before the Spaniards came over here and took over. Spaniards and Irish people came over here and took this over. So this is a really good book to have. Another good book that y'all need to have in y'all arsenal. The Deconstruction, the Destruction of Black Civilization is also another book. Your heart space.
What?
I had to put it down a few times.
Damn, why the volume just start acting right now? Hold on, I got a book. Hold on, I got a book too. Hold
Why he grabs that one? Another book, if you all don't have it, Behold a Pale White. It's Behold a Pale Horse, not White Horse, but Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. This is literally like the book of every conspiracy theory you could ever think of. It's not a conspiracy theory. A lot of that shit is truth, and this man really breaks it open with this book. He actually died. He was murdered because he was a truth speaker and a truth seeker. He was actually in the Navy, so he ended up seeing a lot, and he spoke a lot about a lot of things that's going on in the shadows that they're not talking about on the news and in real time. So those are just a couple of books. I have a lot of books, but those are just a couple of books. Oh yeah, that's the ancestor right there, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. Let me tell you, that's my boo. I got a picture of her on my altar.
she was
Very
this
good
is
book.
one of the realest people ever. This, this,
Realest ever.
this is the one of the realest pieces
Ever.
of literature ever.
Yes. I don't have the book, but I've watched I actually came across Dr. Frances Cress Welsing from I was introduced to her from the Hidden Colors when it was good, when Hidden Colors was good, when it first came out. And once I watched that, I started watching a lot of her lectures, and it was real sad when she passed away. I think she passed away like the same year or a year after Dr. Sebi passed away, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't too long after that. But the ISIS Papers is definitely a really good book to reference because it really breaks down systematic white supremacy and racism, and how it plays a part in our everyday life. Like she breaks down everything from sports, movies, holidays. Like she goes super deep, super duper deep. And it's so funny because remember on Boomerang when Martin Lawrence was talking about the pool table, we
Yeah,
laughed, but it makes a lot of sense now that you think about it.
yeah.
Makes a whole lot of sense.
And check
Makes a lot of sense.
and see, she used to go on TV shows and spit fire. She's been on look up her on the
It was on
Phil
Donahue.
on Phil Donahue. It's another one she did where she debated like this I think he was a politician or something, man. But it was a white dude. They debated like on TV, and she used to go in. She used to debate all these people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's a really good book to have as well. I actually am considering after I finish reading this other book that I have. I'm reading the three questions right now, which is really good book. I actually said after I finished reading that book that I was gonna reread um, they came before Columbus, because my next I wanted to do a podcast on Black Americans in their relation to Native Americans. So I really wanted to like dive into that because I don't think a lot of black folks really know our history with the Native Americans of this land and
Real, real, the
how
real,
important
yeah,
it is,
the real.
real talk, how important it is for us to dive into that. You'll learn about terminologies like $5 Indians. Um, you'll learn about how the census came about, how they pretty much burned that shit down, and how a lot of Irishmen took on the role of calling themselves Native Americans in order to get reparations for what happened during the Trail of Tears
Yeah.
and a lot of land that was taken.
Also,
So I'm
also, just, and also know that so we from a state called Indiana and Indianapolis with Indian all in it.
hmm
You know, if you have ever driven from Indianapolis to St. Louis, you go through Collinsville. Collinsville has it's basically a pyramid with the top missing. And there's a lot of places around they don't like to talk about that there's been so a lot of what they say happened ain't really happened. We've been over here. Those who they say are Indians, they were there's different kind of Indians, and the ones who they depict were from a whole different tribe. I believe a majority of what you would call black people are what you call Indian. We are Aboriginal people. We are the red.
Yep,
We are the for real red. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
Like I can show you a
And
picture right now. I can show you a picture of my mama, my grandmother, and my auntie, and me, and you be like, them niggas look. They
yeah,
just came out of a teepee.
that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of us don't know about that. So that's I'm working on that topic right now. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up with you, bro. I had a good time. We made it. We made it.
And I screen recorded
We
about an
made
hour.
it through.
I screen recorded about an hour. So
We
yeah.
made it through though, brother. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this talk. Thank y'all for thanks for the people who came through. It's always the same people. I really rock with y'all. Like at this point, y'all like my family. Yolanda, Rocky, Jazzy. Who else was up in here? Like Bobby, Matt. I see all of y'all, man. I appreciate y'all all for coming through. And it just was a good talk, in my opinion. I don't really care. I'm grateful. Let them know. Let the people know who you are. Where you? I mean, they know who you are, but let them know where they can find you.
All right,
Drop your bid.
you can hit me up at thecomedianjscott.com. I'm on all social platforms at comedian J Scott. You gotta type it all in. But brother's got a lot going on right now. I'm waiting for this episode to drop on of this show that I did in LA. It's gonna be on Tubi. I've been kind of pumping that for the past couple months, but I shot it last year. But a comedy album I'm working on. So, I'm just staying real busy out here. I'm straight independent. So, you know what I mean? I put in the work, and I'm also trying to, put in the work on the grassroots side too. So, shout out to everybody that I reached out to in that Renaissance grassroots movement on the messenger. And you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna keep reaching out to people and build with people. And I'm really, really out here. I'm really, really out here.
And we appreciate you for being out there. We appreciate you, y'all. So next week, y'all, next Tuesday, we'll be back. Same time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. Thank y'all for tuning in to Pretty Realist. Y'all be blessed, be well. Peace.